Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Working Group Serving weekly meeting, first meeting of October. Please, everyone, remember that this meeting is being recorded and we are all bound to the CNCF terms of commitment to the community. So please behave. Don't say anything wrong on the chat or live. And welcome, everyone. Nice to having everyone here. Let's start with the work stream updates. Orchestration, always go first, although it's not alphabetically. Who wants to speak for orchestration? Juan?
No update from me, but I think Abdullah put a document on the inference gateway scheduling algorithm. Is Abdullah here? Maybe Kellen, you wanna cover that in your update?
Sure. I thought we went over. Oh, I guess we didn't have a meeting last week. Yeah. We can cover that in my section.
Okay. Yeah, that's it for orchestration.
Thank you, John. Thank you, John. DRA, Sergey?
Yeah, so for DRA, we are making some progress. We decided to remove classic DRA and promote structured parameters to beta. Those two were merged. We have some delays on other caps, but those two are something that we track very extensively right now. John, do you want to speak about it?
Yeah, well, that's right. We also have a few other caps, and they are all close to merging. So the deadline is tomorrow. And two of them, the partitionable devices one, which allows us to do dynamic MIG, is approved. We're looking for one more approval. And then the other one, which is the prioritized list, which allows you to sort of specify, I want, this device or two of these devices, is also basically approved. Like and then Sergey, there's your cap that I think we should be able to get in. It looks like it's pretty close to where it needs to be. So, yeah. Kevin?
Yeah, I guess there was a question on the Slack about like ownership of like DRA related work. If anyone has like questions or functionality around DRA, do we put that in the device management work group?
Yes.
And like, I guess so serving is more for bringing like use cases to that group.
Yeah, so the DRA work, so serving would bring use cases to the device management group. Some of the things I specifically am super interested in still getting some feedback on are use cases around the multi-host pieces. DRA is about subnode things, but I'm wondering if there's data that DRA can provide to higher level controllers to do cross-node things. Yeah, I would expect this group to provide requirements to DRA, to working group device management for DRA.
Okay, that aligns with what I was thinking. All right, thank you.
All right, we can move to autoscaling. I see also your name here, Juan.
Yeah, so we had a separate meeting where we presented different benchmarking tools from Red Hat, IBM, and GKE. And I believe the next step is for HR to evaluate these existing tools and identify any gaps to see if we can adopt any tools or we need to start a separate project from scratch. Then that requires like a sponsorship from this working group. So, Ashok, do you want to add anything here?
Yeah. I think the discussion is captured there. I'm currently trying the tool out. I'll capture my feedback and what the next steps we can proceed with. And then we can hopefully meet next week to have another discussion and move forward on this one.
For those of you who are interested in having a look at those tools. There's recording available in that meeting notes. Yeah, Ashok, do you think we'll need another meeting this week? Do you think we'll have enough update to talk about, like before? Or I guess it's too late already. Maybe next week then.
Yeah, next week works better. Yeah, I still need to try a few more things and capture some of those. Yeah.
Okay, I'll try to schedule some time for next week then. Thanks.
Okay. Multi-host, I see it empty, so I guess we can move on. So we're on Kellen.
Cool. Yeah, we're getting things rolling with Instance Gateway. We got the API proposal merged. I have a working branch where we built out the controller. Part of that was working with Envoy Gateway folks, the open source folks, to get some best practices on how best to hook up XProc and everything. We kind of did it quick and dirty for the POC. So I fixed that. I'll have a PR for that out, I believe, today, honestly, this morning. And then, as I mentioned, the controller will quickly follow that. So it should be easier for folks to just install this on their cluster and get it working. We did propose the algorithm last week, and we discussed that in our meeting last week as well. Seems general good consensus on the direction we're headed. There are still some things up in the air on what we want to decide. Song, I believe, is not here this morning, but is working on a initial implementation supporting priority. So a lot of cool stuff coming. We're really excited to share more next week. That's it.
I would love also to get, like, if the community can take a look at the scheduling algorithm document, give us feedback. That'd be great too.
Yes. Yeah, if you have not already, please do.
Okay, that's all, Kellen?
Yep, that's it. That's it from us.
Okay, Jason?
Yeah, update. We had the auto-scaling add in the HPA stub PR. I'm gonna take a look at this week. Also ping Edwin on the 405B PR that's up. Hopefully we can get that in this week. And then I'm looking to add Llama 3 70B, hopefully by the next meeting.
Awesome. Any questions? No, looks like we're moving fast. Kevin, you're next.
Yeah, it's just kind of a call out. I noticed Q has been adding support for, so for those not aware, Q is a quota management solution in the Kubernetes SIG for like stuff like Slurm and Kubernetes kind of a way. And they've provided support for deployments, and I guess there is work ongoing for stateful sets. I was just curious if this community has been looking at like quota management for serving workloads, especially for like, you know, API servers. And like if anyone's been kind of thinking about this, it'd be useful to bring like up some of these use cases, because a lot of this is, I think, still in flight, and I'm just curious what people have been doing around like fair sharing and other stuff with serving.
Yeah, fair sharing is definitely something we're looking into in the instance gateway, cases where you're sharing compute capacity. But we typically differentiate on use case. It sounds like you might want to differentiate on a customer or a consumer. Is that right?
This would be, I guess it'd be relatively global quotas, and then users could share from a quota, like a hard limit of like of accelerators or something. That's at least Q is more not exactly at a customer level. Like I guess how would you have instance gateways like quota management is kind of what I'm trying to understand better.
Sure. So we don't do quota management per se. We just ensure fair sharing because our point is to utilize the GPU as much as possible. Fair sharing would include priority classes. If you wanna ping me offline, I can kind of point you to some of our docs. I'd love to sync with you on this.
Sure, I can do that.
Cool.
Or actually, I mean, better to, why don't we just post that in the serving channel?
Sure. Yeah, that works too. That works too.
We have a question. Jen?
Right. I think here it talk about the queue or quota support for those like orchestration like workloads, right? It's still it's not the fine grain level. It's still the cross level resource sharing. It's not coming into the pod to do the fair share between tenants, if I understand correctly. So that's still the traditional problem. The reason I think we have this issue is because in the past, I think most of the queue concept we apply on those jobs, right? And we didn't care much about the online serving workloads. So here it just adds the support for like deployments or lead worker set or other like inference based workload types. Is nothing related with the fine grained resource sharing inside the pod. Is that correct?
I mean, I think that, yeah, I mean, this is relatively new. This was added to kind of, I guess Q has gotten some support for running serving workloads, and by their MVP was adding Q support for deployments and stateful sets, which is ongoing. I don't exactly know. I mean, obviously we don't change like the pod resources for this, but it would be saying that like what I'm envisioning is like you might have a serving work, like 2 serving workloads, and one of those serving workloads would get preempted for another one. And I'm kind of just wondering like if anyone has been thinking about that and like how that actually like works in practice, because it's more clear to me from a batch job use case or a distributed workload use case, but for serving, I'm just kind of curious about like because like to me, like an API server, like it probably you would want it running, and then you're kind of taking, you know, API requests to do LLM stuff, and I mean, maybe that's kind of what I'm trying to understand, like if this community, like what kind of problems this could solve, or is this not the right approach? Maybe, I guess, maybe part of this is another area I'm thinking about is like, do most people kind of have separate clusters for serving and batch? Because like, I'm wondering, like if you have training, would you want to preempt a LLM serving for a training job, or are we sort of separating both?
Yeah, I can share some the practice in the past from our side. I think yeah, this was like discussing and for people who use separate clusters for training and inference workloads, they requires very strong like auto scaling capabilities. But in GPU scenarios, sometimes as we know, it's hard to get the resources in time, right? And a lot of like company like us, we use the like kind of reserved instance or static like instance in one cluster to handle the title patterns because this I think that's the traditional like collocation problems between services and jobs. The daytime we have definitely more services running and I mean the service the night I mean over the overnight there's more like jobs running. You need to share the resources. I think the broader topic will be something similar like BOG, right? The Google's BOG or like Meta's Twine resource management systems. How to efficiently share resources between batch queue and online queue, or even we have some buffer queue in the middle. In that case, I think most of the companies choose like unified schedulers for both online and like offline workloads. If we move forward that way, I think that's totally makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that's at least kind of what I'm. All right. Well, I'll think a little bit. I mean, I was just kind of. I want to bring this up as an issue to see like if anyone is thinking about this to kind of bring up maybe or try at least have some ideas on this end, because I think it's an interesting idea, but I'm not exactly sure how this works in production for serving at the moment. I mean, obviously it's an MVP, but it just would be useful to kind of think about that. Thank you. That's all I have.
Kevin, it might be useful to start a thread on Slack as well, so that people who may not be joining the meeting can also add ideas.
Sure. Yeah, and I think deployments was released. Stateful sets is ongoing, and then leader worker set. I don't think anyone has signed up to implement that one yet.
Yeah, it takes time. Thank you, Kevin. I will run a question. Anyone has an open topic, something you have in your mind that maybe you don't have access to the Google Doc for some reason? Once, twice.
One thing I wanted to bring up is like LoRa orchestration. If I don't know if anybody like looked at this problem. I don't know if Chong is on the call.
No, I don't think so. But yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh no, you can go for it. That's fine.
That's that. Like, yeah. I mean, we know that. I think Jashin, you added support for that in VLLM, just like the APIs. I was wondering if the community is interested to build some sort of like, orchestration around this, basically rolling out a new adapter to the model servers. And how would that look like? Is it using, like, for example, a shared file system and a sidecar, or a proper API, some sort of like a CRD? I don't know what, like, if anybody came across this problem and they have any thoughts on how we want to address it, and whether we want to have a standardization around this.
Yeah, Chen?
Yes, I think we have some like design implementations internally to support like multi-LoRa cases in the inference systems. And we do plan to make it public. So maybe I think we can share the original proposal to the public in next 2 weeks, so people can help review and give some feedbacks, and if that can meet some requirements from the community users. What do you think, Abdullah?
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah.
Thank you, Abdullah. I also wanted to bring a topic. It's more like a poll. So if you are aware or not, recently the company I work for, so I need to be very explicit here because this is CNCF rules, right? So I'm asking you, the community. I would like to bring someone from my company, a vendored company, to present about this topic. Is an operator to run NVIDIA NIMs, so basically inference containers. We released this, as you can see, is open source, and I think it will be good at least to present, show the architecture, and show you how we are kind of like doing things and how we want to run NVIDIA optimized models. I know it would be a lot of green tainted presentation, but I still feel that it would be positive for the overall community to present this. So if someone has Reason against this presentation not happening here, please raise your hand or let me know. And if not, I would like to book it for the next meeting, for next week, if people are interested in hearing about the NVIDIA NIM operator.
Eduardo, do you want to add it to the future topics at the top?
Yeah, but I really first wanted to ask the community. I want to be open with this. I don't want this to be seen that I'm pushing the topics.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things we're working on for DRA is NIM is one of the customers of that, right? This prioritized list thing. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, if I am familiar with that, yeah, for sure. It's my day job, like what is keeping me up at night to enable all of the DRA things.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the thing where specifically the prioritized list, one of the things Kevin was talking about wanting to use that for was NIM. So that was, but that'll be alpha in 132, hopefully. So theoretically, right, that would make it easier for people to use the same manifests across different clusters. So, but I'm curious to see. I'm very curious to see this in action, I guess. That's my point.
Thank you. Perfect. So I have added it to the future topics. If someone feels strong about this not happening, please add comments in the Google Doc or something. And thank you. I know this is a sensible topic.
I'd love to see it too. In general, as long as it's like technical deep dive or architecture related, rather than a sales pitch, then we should be fine.
Thank you. Any other open topic? If not, we have half an hour back.
Thanks, Joe.
Okay, I don't see any raising hands. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Have a good day.